My name is Joseph Buckley, president of John Reid and Associates, and I would like to introduce you to our program, the Reid P.E.A.C.E method of investigative interviewing. P.E.A.C.E stands for Planning and Preparation, Engage and Explain, Account, Closure, and Evaluation. This two-day training program merges the core tenets of the Reid rapport-centric evidence-based questioning with protocols established by the United Kingdom's College of Policing on authorized professional practices for law enforcement. For over 7 decades, John Reid and Associates has advanced the art of investigative interviewing through reliance upon a non-coercive approach combined with persuasive argumentation to establish facts, assess interviewee credibility, and obtain admissions against interests that are both voluntary as well as reliable. The Reid P.E.A.C.E method narrows the interviewing scope to evidence-based inquiries as the sole means of eliciting truthful disclosures from suspects, witnesses, and victims of unlawful behavior. It's important to note that this training program does not include any instruction on the Reid behavior analysis interview, the use of behavior-provoking questions, or the Reid 9 steps of interrogation. Those procedures and techniques are taught in our program, the Reid Technique of Investigative Interviewing and Advanced Interrogation. Here is an overview of the Reid P.E.A.C.E method of investigative interviewing course content. Phase 1, Planning and Preparation. This phase explores preliminary considerations before beginning a questioning session. Among these considerations are fact analysis, definition of interview objectives, identification of evidence that may be freely discussed, as well as evidence that must be withheld for validation of any admissions that might be made against the person's self-interest, establishment of an appropriate interview environment, and development of background information about the interviewee. Phase 2, Engage and Explain. During this phase, rapport is based upon mutuality of respect that is established between the interviewer and the interviewee. To the extent permissible, the subject matter of the interview is explained to the subject and dialogue between the parties is developed. If relevant, conditions of control are addressed for the personal safety of both interviewer and interviewee. Phase 3, Account. This is the core of the process. Quite simply, this is the portion of the interview wherein the full extent of an interviewee's knowledge, alibi, or sensory perceptions are elicited. Free recall is initially encouraged through open-ended questions that narrow to specific, closed, forced choice, and leading questions as a means of refining the quality and quantity of information disclosed by the subject. Trial practice principles of direct and cross-examination are included among the questioning protocols. Ambiguities are clarified, and challenges may be issued to the veracity of the information being disclosed by the subject if admissions against interest were included among potential objectives during the planning and preparation phase. Phase 4, Closure. This phase involves confirmation of accuracy of all information developed during the interview, as well as setting the stage for possible future interviews with this individual. Phase 5, Evaluation. This phase involves an after-action evaluation of the efficacy of the interview. Were the goals achieved? Are there additional interviews required, either of the same individual or of other subjects? Are there any other additional investigative initiatives required to address unanswered questions resulting from the interview? Has the interviewee's credibility been impeached or bolstered? And could the interviewer's own performance have been better so that future interviews are more effective? Throughout the 2-day program, we will be discussing behavior symptom analysis interwoven into the context of the interview process. What are behavior symptoms? How are they evaluated? What are some of the factors that can affect the behavior of the individual that we have to consider? We describe the general attitudes more consistent of someone being truthful and open, candid and honest versus someone who's being deceptive, editing, withholding relevant information, or fabricating answers. We discuss specific nonverbal activities, posture changes, facial expressions, eye contact, all in the context of establishing the subject's behavioral baseline and norm. We discuss verbal behavioral cues. in terms of the directness, evasiveness, use of language, paralinguistic behaviors, hesitations, stalling tactics, etc. Here are some comments from our most recent PEACE program that was taught by attorney Philip Mullinex, one of our senior instructors. One of the best, if not the best speakers I've seen in my 19 years as a police officer. Phil draws from a great amount of experience in the field, well-spoken and knowledgeable on the subject, appreciated case examples, videos to assist in learning content, consistent, interactive, engaging explanation. The course had a great pace, and Phil's examples drove home all of the lessons, made them relevant and memorable. Course should be offered across the country. We have a number of PEACE programs coming up in Chicago, Las Vegas, Baltimore this year, and a number in 2021. If you visit our website at reid.com, you'll be able to see the specific dates and locations. Thank you very much for taking a few minutes to listen to this video presentation.